These are a series of website trackers that you can use to be able to determine from an outside point of view without having Google Analytics how people are going to your site, your competitor site, where they're coming from, what some of their interests are. I think you're going to find the most bang for your buck, again, without having access to the individual Google Analytics account for Domino's or somebody else, is SimilarWeb. So I'm going to similarweb.com. Going to enter a website, dominoes.com. It's going to go ahead and tell us several different things. You're going to find that there's going to be some differences based on how people track these in terms of all these numbers. Right now, this SimilarWeb is saying that Domino's has the 2,242nd most ranked site in the world. 582nd in the US. It's number 1 in the food and drink kind of category. You can come back along in here, especially if you're trying to look for estimated audience size, and be able to see that they have averaged from June of 2013 a low of 1,150,000 hits to their website, all the way up to, at this point it looks like they've kind of moved to a slightly new plateau, and in October they're hitting 1.75 million people. It tells you how much the average time a person spends on a site, how many different page views that they scrolled through. That's reasonably decent. The bounce rate in this particular one, they're recording it as about 11%, which means people go to a page and then they go directly somewhere else. That can be very misleading. Again, bounce rate's kind of an older kind of style of judging how well a website is. Traffic sources. We'll look at this several different ways. Direct traffic, come back and talk about what that is. Referrals, search, tiny percentage of social, mail, and display. That doesn't necessarily mean that these are terrible. We'll talk about that here in just a second. It's talking about the subdomains that are the most popular, and orderdominoes.com is the leading one of those, which is great because that's where they want you to go. Tell you a little bit about where the web traffic is from. Over 95% seems to be coming from the United States. Great. Referral traffic. These are outside other sources that are basically pointing in toward the Domino's site. You're going to find a lot of these are like coupon sites or the yellow pages, although it is kind of interesting that Major League Baseball has some kind of relationship with sending people off to Domino's. Come on down into the search parameter right here. 36% of the Domino's traffic came from search. 75% of it from organic, almost 25% from paid search. It's telling you what the main keywords were that people searched for to go find it in Google or Bing or something. Google, Bing, by all these different categories, and which were the paid search words that seemed to have the most impact. Social traffic, well, right now, again, it's a very small percentage, 1.31% of it total, with most of it coming from Facebook and then some of the other sites. Again, don't get necessarily discouraged from this. The only way that this counts as pure traffic is if somebody in Facebook clicks on a link from the Facebook account and it takes them directly to the Domino's page. A lot of people just have their Facebook page set up to generate more traffic to different parts within the Facebook page. If we come back down in here, display advertising, it's 0.92%. So let's just say that's 1%. This is 1%, so they're fairly similar. Which sites are sending the most display traffic? Email accounts, menu accounts, YouTube, Facebook apps, Facebook in general. It even gives you the ability to come in here and like take a look at which are the common ads that it found. So these are the static ads, the text ads, or the Google AdWords account. Order today. Order online today. You see some of the different choices there. Here are some of the flash ads that it's finding that are being run recently that are again driving people to this. And I'll go ahead and close this back up. Audience interest in terms of big food and drink category, people in society, relationship and dating. Wow, so maybe Domino's is kind of a dating ploy or something like that. Keywords that people are finding from other sites that people ended up visiting on their way to this or from this. You can also take a direct link to some competitor sites and stuff. But definitely keep in mind this, whether it's 1% display advertising or even the 1% social for the most part, or the search traffic or the referral site. And if we go back to this, if I've just been on the Facebook account and I see something about Domino's and I lean over or I text and yell at my roommate or partner, if I text them really quickly and I come in here and I just do this, add a new tab and type in dominoes.com, and I go directly to the site, that's not giving any credit back to the Facebook account. That is part of this right here. Where does a lot of the search come from? Probably a fairly similar thing. I just type in Domino's Pizza. I come to a Google page and I say, yeah, Domino's, home of Domino's. Right there, I've gone to the Domino's site and I'm counting as this particular part of the traffic. So a lot of times you're going to find that social and display are heavily underrepresented because they don't necessarily provide a direct link to those things. They're the spur or the trigger that got you to go to one of these two areas here, which is where 75% of their traffic is coming from. But they're not getting individually tagged as being responsible for that. You can download a summary of the report here. Since this is kind of web-based trends, these things don't change very often. So it's not like you need to come back and keep searching this every single day. A couple other things you can check out is I could go check out order.dominos.com. Well, it's not going to give quite as much information about that, but it's still talking about monthly traffic figures. Hey, fewer people bounce when they get to that specific site. This is all referral traffic. Why? Because it's coming from Domino's.com, clicking on the button for order online, and it ends up representing as one of these type things. So not all that interesting. Going to go over here to pizzahut.com. It's got a lower rating in terms of overall traffic, lower in the food category, slightly less time on the site, slightly less page views, higher bounce rate. Again, it's talking about where these things come from. One thing you'll notice is they have a higher percentage of people clicking through on the mail campaign. So if you've used pizzahut.com and registered on that site or their order thing, you're getting periodic emails. And this traffic means that you're clicking from within an email to say, yeah, you know what, maybe I'll order what I ordered last time, and clicking straight through, and that's where this traffic is coming from. You can go take out a list of some of the differences here between the Pizza Hut and the Domino's because it takes very little time. In their social, it's a smaller percentage of their total traffic. More of it's coming from YouTube, which could be some form of basically a Google ad on YouTube, than it is Facebook, where Facebook was the highest percentage of people coming from or to the Domino's site. Again, display advertising information, they have a decent amount from fantasy football type things. Could be an area that you could go ahead and target. Bigger in arts and entertainment, again, where do they come from? Keywords that people are using on some of these things. So that's basically a similar web. It's very easy to use, and again, it's very easy to track that you want to download a PDF that gives a summary of these. And again, since it's web traffic, this is not something you have to go check all that often. Alexa is another one of these. You'll notice if you were to go back and compare, they don't always track the exact same amount of information, so they have different global and US ranks for these brands. They have a higher bounce rate, lower page visits, lower amount of time on site. One of the most interesting things here, other than being able to check out some of the search engine information, upstream sites, where did they go directly before going to this? It's a little bit different information that SimilarWeb is doing. I think this is one of the more interesting things here, though, is the audience demographics. They're saying for Domino's.com, relative to the general interest population, people browsing from home are overrepresented at the site. So this is a bigger index score than 100. People are ordering from home or from school, less from work. People have some college or a fair amount of college, not a huge amount of graduate school type people. Overrepresented by females, underrepresented by males. Let's go check out the Pizza Hut stuff. Again, it is still showing that the Pizza Hut sites are ranked lower than the Domino's one. Lower visits, higher bounce rate, less time on the site. But here it's saying that Pizza Hut people are ordering from home. They're underrepresented from school or from work. Some of these other percentages and pieces of information. The last one of these sites is SEM Rush. This one's pretty complicated. It's got a lot of different information. You can go ahead here and track by main companies. It's showing you the organic traffic and the ads traffic on average. Organic keywords and ad keywords, and again, the percentage of the two if you're going to Domino's.com. It is giving you an idea from an ad keywords point of view that from its estimations that they're having to search for 14 cents per click. Which again, if a pay-per-click ad is running at less than 1%, that means that for 14 cents for every one person who clicks through, there's at least 99 other people who are probably also seeing that particular spot. And maybe that's leading to that kind of organic search or that direct traffic. I see the ad, but I don't necessarily click on it. It's showing you 14 to 17 cents per click, but it's also showing you that in a really big category like pizza, that's a lot of people competing for pizza. That could be Papa John's, Pizza Hut, all kinds of different things, you're probably having to pay up to $227. So the less targeted your AdWords campaign or something like that, the more you have to pay for it. The more specific, like Domino's or Domino's menu or something like that, you're paying a lot less. It's also giving you an idea of what kind of traffic you're competing with against other major players who are doing the same type of thing. Kind of what piece of the pie are you competing for, both in organic search and in ad search. And that's kind of the information it's coming from. It's also giving you a little bit of a clue as to some other potential areas that might yield a lot of different people who are, again, somewhat using the same keywords that you could be looking at for different audiences. So SEM Rush, pretty detailed. Alexa, really good information, especially on the demographic type of stuff. But I think you're going to find the most bang for your buck by actually taking a look at the similarweb.com and comparing it to Domino's and Pizza Hut.